My lovely students, we are on Chapter 3, Lesson 10, so 3.10, and it is page 215. If you have this piggy bank on the top of your picture, you are on the right page. And we're going to continue with division, multi-digit division, long division, but this time we're looking at quotients or answers. Remember, the quotient is the answer to a division problem with a 0. So let's take a look. Example 1 says, Maya is saving to buy a television. The television costs $327. She plans to save money for 3 months. How much does she need to save each month to buy the television? So she needs $327. She's going to save for 3 months, the same amount each month, so we're going to divide. 327 divided by 3. So we can estimate 300 divided by 3. Well, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and we have 2 zeros left over. So my answer is going to be about $100. And I don't know why it is yellow. Stop that thing. Make sure my plugs are in all the way. Okay. So, no, it's still doing it. I'm not sure if it's going to show up yellow on your end, but let me tighten these connections. Okay, so first we're going to write it. Remember, I practiced writing it 327 divided by 3. So remember, we start our problem by just looking at 3 divided by 3. I can do that. How many times does 3 go into 3? Just once. Now we multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract. 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring down my 2. Now this is where it can get a little bit tricky, and this is why the answer is going to have a 0 in it. How many times does 3 go into 2? Well, it can't fit, right? So it goes in 0 times. Now we multiply. 0 times 3 is 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring down 27. Now you can see that we just took, that's the same thing, but we do have to hold our place there with a 0 because I did try to divide out this number, so we still have 100 something. So let's see, now how many times does 3 go into 27? Well, if I look at my math facts, I know that 3 times 9 is 27, so I'm going to do 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 minus 27 is 0. There's nothing left to bring down. I'm done. So 109 is how much she needed to save each month. $109. And now we can check for reasonableness. Is our answer reasonable? Does it make sense? Is 100 our estimate about 109? Yes, it is. I don't know what is happening with this camera. Okay, let's see if that, oh my goodness, you guys, I apologize. Okay, let's do some more practice with this. Let's turn the page. Okay, so this one says we have 5,231 divided by 4. So 5,231 divided by 4. So remember, I just start my problem with what I can divide into. So can 4 go into 5? Yes, 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. And now we bring down our 2. How many times can 4 go into 12? Oh, I know that. That's 3. 3 times 4 is 12. I subtract 12 minus 12 and I get 0. And I bring down my 3. How many times can 4 go into 3? Yikes, it can't fit. So I know that I'm going to end up dividing by 31, but I have to hold my place here. 0 times 4 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. And I bring down the 1. Now we have our 31. How many times does 4 go into 31? Let's see, 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 is 32. What's 4 times 8? 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 is 32. So that's too big. So it's going to be 4 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. I subtract. I cannot take 8 away from 1. If I only have 1 apple, I can't take 8 away, so I have to borrow. That makes us 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. We have a remainder, because there's nothing left to bring down, we have a remainder of 3. So the remainder is 3. Our answer is 1,307, remainder of 3. We're going to check our work using multiplication. So we're going to multiply this out. 1,307 times 4. We multiply the answer, the quotient, by the divisor. 7 times 4 is 28. I carry the 2. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And now I have to add my remainder. 8 plus 3 is 11. 3, 2, 5. That should match my dividend. 5,231, 5,231. So we got that one right. We can always check our work for division problems by multiplying it back out. Okay, let's do the guided practice together. We are dividing 842 divided by 4. So remember, we can start, you can use a piece of paper if you're on this. You can start with the first one it will go into. So how many times does 4 go into 8? Oh, I know that one. 2 times 4 is 8. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. And now I go bring down. Bring down that 4. It's right there. How many times does 4 go into 4? How many times is 4 divided by 4 goes 1? How many times? Yeah, just once. Once. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. That's a 0 there too. Now I bring down. Bring down my 2. How many times does 4 go into 2? Oh, it can't fit, can it? So we're going to put a 0. Multiply. 0 times 4 is 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. There's nothing left to bring down, so I have a remainder of 2. Nothing left to bring down, so I have a remainder of 2. Okay. Let's look at this just to think for a second. Yolanda wants to find 936 divided by 9. In which place value position would she end up having a 0? So we're just thinking about it. Like, let's think the 9 into 900. Oh, that would go once. Could the 9 go into 30 all on its own? If it ends up being a 3, no. But it could go into 36 4 times. So that's a tricky one, but we're gonna do some more, and you guys will have more practice thinking about that. Okay, oh my gosh, stop turning yellow. Okay. We have 418 divided by 2. 418 divided by 2. And we can use our chart here, since we don't have the boxes, to help us keep lined up. 418 divided by 2. So remember, we're going to start just with what we can see here. So how many times does 2 go into 4? Or 4 divided by 2 alone? Well, it's 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. Now we subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. Move our paper over and bring down a 1. How many times can 2 fit in 1? Well, 1 times 2 is 2, so it doesn't fit at all. So we put a 0. Multiply. 0 times 2 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Now we bring down our 8. How many times does 2 go into 18? Oh, I know that fact. 9 times 2 is 18. Multiply. Subtract. I have a 0 remainder. There's nothing left to bring down. So my answer is simply 209. My answer to this problem is simply 209. You can pause it there if you need to get that, or if not, we'll write it on the paper. Except I've lost my pencil. Pencil. Here it is. 209. Let's do this one, but let's try and do it nice and small and keep it lined up neat on the paper. We can use the back side of a paper here to help us keep everything lined up straight. So I'm going to use this as if it's like a ruler, and I can only write on this side. I can only write on my actual math book paper. But you know what? Let's use something colored so it's a little easier to see. So there we go. I'm only going to write on the white paper. How many times does 2 go into 2? 2 divided by 2 is 1. I multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. I subtract. 2 minus 2 is 0. I scooch my paper over and I bring down a 1. How many times can 2 go into 1? Well, it can't. It's too big. So we're going to put a 0. 0 times 2 is 0. I subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. And now I bring down. How many times does 2 go into 10? 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. I subtract. 0. There's nothing left to bring down, so there's no remainder. My answer there is 105. You could put a star on that one as well. 105. Let's take a look at this one, except this time I'm going to use some graph paper, which I currently cannot find. The graph paper has run away. Here it is. Graph paper. So this time I'm going to use graph paper to keep my answers, my work straight. So I have 4,324. 4,000, I put each one in a box. 324 divided by 4. 4,324 divided by 4. So remember, I start right there on that first column, and you can use your paper if you'd like to cover everything else up. This is 4 divided by 4. I know that. That's 1. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. Now I bring down, so I got to scooch my paper over a little. Bring down the next number. It's a 3. 3 divided by 4. Oh, I can't do that. It doesn't fit. It fits exactly 0 times. 0 times 4 is 0. I subtract. 3 minus 0 is 3. I scooch my paper over and I bring down. Bring down my 2. How many times does 4 go into 32? Or 32 divided by 4? We did that earlier. It's 8. I know my math facts. 8 times 4 is 32. I subtract. 32 minus 32 is 0. Still have more digits here. I bring down a 4. How many times does 4 go into 4? Oh, exactly once. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. 0. There's nothing left to bring down, so that will be my answer. 1,081. 1,081. And remember, if I wanted to check my work, I could write this out. 1,081 times 4 times my divisor. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 8 is 32. I carry the 3. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. That matches my dividend, 4,324. So I got that one right. We'll give ourselves a smiley face there. Smiley face on that guy. Okay, let's go ahead and skip 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to go on to these ones, to 8, 9, and 10. We're going to do those 3, 8, 9, and 10, and then we're going to do maybe one problem on the back. Let's do this one. 840 divided by 70. Which one goes in the house? Which number goes in the house? The first number goes in the house. So 840 divided by 7. Oops, you guys couldn't see me. 840 divided by 7. Sorry about that. So we're going to start right here. We're only looking at 8 divided by 7 right now. This fits one time. 1 times 7 is 7. I subtract. 8 minus 7 is 1. I bring down. How many times can 7 fit into 14 if we skip count? 7, 14, oh, 2 times exactly. 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract. Bring down. How many times can 7 go into 0? 0 times, right? 0 times 7 is 0. I subtract. Nothing. There's nothing left to bring down. I have no remainder. So my answer to this one, which you could not see, is 120. And remember, if we want to check our work, we just multiply our answer, or our quotient, times the divisor. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 1 plus 1 is 8. 840, 840. We know we got it right. My goodness, my friends, I keep showing you the wrong thing. We multiply. 120 times 7. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 4 is 14. 7 times 1 plus 1 is 8. So my numbers are the same. Okay, let's do 627 divided by 3. I'm going to see if I can fit it in here. These division problems take up a lot of room on my paper. 627 divided by, first number goes in the house, 3. Remember, we start with just the very beginning, what we can divide in. So we have 6 divided by 3 goes 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Scooch my paper over, bring down. How many times can 3 fit into that 2? Oh, yikes, it's bigger than the number it can't fit. So it's got to fit 0 times. 0 times 3 is 0, because anything times 0 is 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. And now we bring down. 27. 27 divided by 3. Oh, I know my math facts. 3 times 9 is 27. I multiply, subtract, get a 0. There's nothing left to bring down. There's no remainder. My answer is 209. 209. And the last one on here, I'm going to turn my paper just so I can use up my space, is 5,330 divided by 5. First number goes in the house. 5,330 divided by 5. So remember, I start with 5 divided by 5. How many times does it fit? Just once. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. I bring down the 3. How many times can 5 fit into 3? Oh, it can't. It's bigger than that number. So it fits 0 times. 0 times 5 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. Bring down my next 3. How many times does 5 fit into 33? Well, I know 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Ooh, 6. So 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. I subtract. 33 minus 30 is 3. I bring down a 0. Still a 0 there, so we have to bring it down. Now we have 5 into 30. 30 divided by 5. Oh, we just did that. 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract. 0. There's nothing left to bring down, so there's no remainder. So my answer to this problem is 1,066. 1,066 is the answer to that problem. Smiley face for our middle guy, star for the end. Feel free to pause this there if you need more time. And we're going to go skipping this, and we're going to go to the back page. We're going to skip 11, 12, and 13, and we're going to go to the back page. Okay, we're just going to do a couple of these, you guys. So let's see here. Let's do number 14. It says there are 312 fish at the aquarium in 3 different fish tanks. Each tank has the same number of fish. How many fish are in each tank? So we've got 312 fish. Here we go. I'm going to draw a really terrible fish. And we've got 3 tanks. And we're going to keep plopping them in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, until we get all the way up to 312. And we could do that, but that might take us a long time. So instead, we're going to use long division. So I'm going to erase my previous one here. And we're going to use our template. And our question is, 312, remember the bigger number is the dividend. It goes in the house, divided by 3, the divisor. So I start at the very beginning. What I can see, 3 divided by 3 is 1. I multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now I bring down 1. Uh-oh, can 3 fit into 1? Nope. So we're going to have to put a 0 up here and multiply that out. 0 times 3 is, well, anything times 0 is 0. Subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. And now I bring down my 2. Now I have 3 into 12, or 12 divided by 3. That answer is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. There's nothing left to bring down, so that is my answer, 104. Let's zoom out a little so you can see that whole thing. 104 is my answer. And it is 104 what? 104 what? What are these things that we put into the fish tanks? Oh, they're fish. 104 fish. Last problem, you guys. We're going to do number 16. This must be Gina. It says, Gina spent 120 minutes helping her neighbors rake leaves over the last 4 days. She helped the same number of minutes each day. How many minutes did she rake each day? So she worked 120 minutes, and we have to divide it by 4 days. So let's see if we can go on really neat here. No, let's just use our thing. That's going to be good for this one. Okay, we've got 120. That's our large number. It was written first in our problem, divided by 4. So this time, remember, we did this yesterday. How many times can 4 go into 1? Well, it can't. Now, you can feel free to put the 0 here if you want. You'll see you get the same thing. We're going into 12 now. How many times does 4 go into 12? Oh, I know that one, Mrs. Bodell. 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract 12 minus 12 is 0. Bring down a 0. How many times does 4 fit into 0? Oh, 0 times. 0 times 4 is 0. Subtract 0. Nothing left to bring down. I don't have a remainder. So 0, 30 is what we got there, but that's the same thing as 30, right? 0, 30 is equal to 30. Those are the same numbers. There's a 0 in the hundreds here, and there's a 0 in the hundreds there. We just can't see it. It's invisible. So she worked 30 what? Minutes each day. And remember, how do we check our work? We multiply the answer we got, 30, times the divisor. 30 times 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. 120. And that's it. Great job, my friends. Keep up the good work. You're doing fabulous. And we'll be doing this a little bit like it again tomorrow. Good job.